Hello and welcome to the Create a Story Story-Driven Brand webinar. I am Meg Adams. I am going to be your teacher today, taking you through this workshop, and I'm so happy that you are here. I'm happy and I'm excited for you because my guess is that you have an idea, you have some messaging or a personal brand you want to create, or a business, or maybe you're here because you want to revamp the brand for your organization. Whatever it is, like I said, I'm just really thrilled that you're here. And I hope by the end of this workshop, you are going to have a plan in place for how you are going to tell better stories that will resonate with your ideal audience. I hope that sounds good. So how this workshop is going to go today, we're going to have time for you to articulate your idea. So I want you to articulate your idea for a business, maybe your marketing ideas for this year. If you're a little more further along and you're like maybe revamping a brand, we're going to spend some time doing that. Then we're going to dig deeper into identifying your purpose. This is a really core piece in terms of telling brand stories that appeal and resonate with your audience. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to walk through my process, which will be hopefully your process, which will be your engagement funnel. So how do you actually tell those stories? What types of stories can you tell? How many of them should you be telling? And how can you work on this process of creating a really powerful story-driven brand? And then we'll talk about some next steps for you about how you continue to work on this beyond the scope of this workshop. So that's what's on deck for today. But before we get started, I wanted to give you a little bit about me. I am very skeptical of people on the internet. I believe that it is my background in journalism that made me this way. So I just want to take some time today to let you know why you should trust me. I know especially that there are a lot of online gurus out there, and there are people who teach you different processes about how to build brand and how to create messaging and market online. It's a whole thing, right? But I just want you to know specifically that the process that I'm going to teach you today, the ideas that I have to share with you, come from my background as both a researcher and a practitioner. So I got a PhD in rhetoric and writing in 2015. I do teach public relations, marketing, and video production at a small liberal arts university. So I do have to know these things well enough to teach them and keep up with current trends and research. But more importantly, and I think more applicable to the workshop today, is my role as a business owner. So I do own a media production company, we like to call it, with my partner, and we run it with our team. And so we actually work with clients to help them create the very same process that I'm about to teach you today. And our clients are across industries. So our goal and our process, which might be a little different than some of those other people out there, is to help you create a community. So a community of loyal customers, to help you build relationships and hopefully be really focused on serving others. And so to be able to tell stories or to share messages that build your business around, again, this brand or this idea that you have. And so that's where our process differentiates a little bit from others. But if you're like, yes, I want to learn how to do that too, you're in the right place. So that's where I'm coming from today. Okay, so let's dive right in. If you are here, my guess is you've already bought into this idea, but you know that truly creating relationships that last, it's all about sharing stories, right? Whether you're sharing stories with a friend or a stranger, or someone at a coffee shop, or someone on the internet, right? Through your social channels, like you build relationships through storytelling. It's not just some marketing talk or some lingo that we discovered a decade ago. Stories have been used for thousands of years to help people make emotional connections to each other, but also to help ideas be cultivated and to evolve over time, like through storytelling. Before the internet and books, we did a lot of oral storytelling. And so I think in some ways what we're doing on the internet is coming full circle to that. But we're not going to dig into all that today. Today, we're just going to be talking about how you can create a more powerful story-driven brand and how that brand, again, functions to allow you to build relationships over time. So people who use this process that I'm about to teach you, you really have to be in it for the long game. This is not a quick sell. This is not something that's going to turn around for you in a month. It could, but traditionally you're in it for the long haul. I want you to be thinking about the clients or the relationships that you're going to build for 10 years, for 20 years and beyond, right? These are the lifelong clients. These are the lifelong friends or customers or mentors that you're going to have, regardless of, whatever your goals are with messaging and building your brand. So I just wanted to let that be stated at the beginning so we all kind of have the right intention about what we're going to get out of the workshop today. Okay, so let's start at the very, very basic part of this story-driven brand. And that is, what's your brand? What's your business? So I'd like you to, if you haven't already, I'd like you to pull out a piece of paper, if it's a notebook and a pen, or maybe pull up a Word document. And I want you to think about what your business idea is or what your brand idea is. So I think this is going to be a little different depending on where you are in the process. So if you are you've got an idea for a business, maybe you want to start a business in 2022, like that is your goal. That's what you want. I want you to just articulate that idea. Maybe it's however you want to articulate it, but maybe you're listing out the services that you would offer. Maybe you have ideas for a name for your business floating around and you're going to file your LLC, but you want to make sure that that branding's right before you do. If you're there, take the next 5 minutes and do that. Maybe you're here because you want to build a strong personal brand, or maybe your business brand is going to be built around you. You're going to be the face of that brand. That's sort of a combination of the two. Or maybe you just, if you're in the spot, or if you are here because you want to build a personal brand and you want to connect to people and build better relationships with people through, your curated brand, I want you to list down all the messaging or all the ideas or the values, anything that you can write down or brain dump around that idea for your brand. And then the third type of audience member, maybe you're not the first two, but maybe you're this third one. Maybe you do have a business. Maybe your business is going really well, but you want it, or maybe it's not, I don't know. Maybe you want to get a handle though on your messaging, right? And you want to do it through stories. You understand that that is very powerful. And that's why you're here. You're like, I need to get clear. I need to get focused and I need to start telling stories that are really going to move the needle for me in my business or with my brand. If that's you, I'm guessing that you already have a business idea. Like you already can maybe give me the elevator pitch of what it is that you do. If that's you, I want you to write that statement down. Maybe you have a mission statement somewhere or a value statement. Write those all down, but also write down maybe some of your specific goals that you have for marketing your business in 2022. What are some things that you want to achieve? And what are some messages that you're already thinking about? Maybe you have a product or a service that you really want to market this year. That's what you're going to write. So whatever group you fall into, 1, 2, or 3, I want you to pause the video right now and take at least 5 minutes, put a timer on, and articulate your business idea. Okay, unpause. You're back. Yay. First, I want to congratulate you, especially if this is like the first time you've done this. I know how just maybe this excites you, maybe it's intimidating, but there are all kinds of emotions around writing things down. But congratulations, you did it. I hope that you're feeling excited about your idea. I know that this is not a live webinar, but if this is something that you want to share in a group, I do want to plug, I do have a Facebook community. It's called Sisters in Storytelling. And every Monday I try to create a space where we can write down our ideas, talk about what we're working on. That'd be a great place for you to share your brand. Or you can just post it anytime. I'm going to comment there, but you're also going to be in community with other women who are in the same place as you, who are hopefully really focused on building a brand and can give you some great feedback and ideas. So even though we're not live in session today, if that's something that you want to do, I would encourage you to share your ideas there. So I'd love to hear it. And I'm sure many of the other women in that group will be so excited to encourage you as well. So do that. But now that you do have your idea or a little bit of your messaging and marketing strategy clarified, the next step is really one of the core pieces when it comes to building a story-driven brand. And that is to create a solid foundation. So your solid foundation essentially is your purpose. I use the image of a star because when I think of my purpose for our business and our brands, I think of that purpose as the guiding light, the North Star, if you will, for all of the stories that we tell, right? Everything should connect back into that purpose. Now, when you think about purpose, a lot of clients that I work with start, if they're a new business owner or they're creating a personal brand, you understand that there's going to be some time and effort in cultivating and creating these stories, right? It's fun. You learn a lot about yourself. It's an incredible process, but it is like anything else of value, time consuming. And so having a clear purpose, a why that is bigger than you, will help you when you are telling stories. And it will also do double duty for you a little bit because it will help you stay motivated as well. And so I want this why to be bigger than I just want more time off with my family, right? Maybe that's why you want to start a business, or maybe I'm not using my skills or my passions to the best service that I can. Like, these are great things to start with, but I want you to dig even deeper than that. I want your purpose to be aligned with serving others. So to give you an example, I'm going to read you the purpose that I have. And so maybe this will resonate with you in this workshop today, right? Because hoping it's why you're here. So I want to help people create story-driven brands so they can attract dream clients and build sustainable businesses that actually make the world a better place, right? That's so much bigger than me. It's so much bigger than my business. It's even bigger than my community, right? It's multi-layered, right? And so it helps me on the days when I'm not really feeling super excited to sit down and write content for the week or send out an email newsletter. I mean, most days I will say, like, I'm pretty good at staying self-motivated, but some days I don't, and some days I'm trying to figure out what to tell and trying to, maybe I'm feeling a little vulnerable, or I'm lacking that. Maybe I feel imposter syndrome. That's a good way to put it. This is going to help you get over that, because having a purpose bigger than yourself will not only help you tell better stories, because it's going to allow you to find that authentic voice or that place of vulnerability, but it's going to motivate you too. And so I want you to just really make sure that you take some time to do this. So for not to like hold you up here forever, but again, 5 minutes here, I'd like you to try to articulate that out on the same sheet of paper that you had shared your business idea. I'd like you to try and think through your purpose. And maybe this comes really easy to you. Like, maybe you don't need the 5 minutes. Maybe you're like, Meg, I already know. Like, I've been thinking about this for years. Or maybe it's like, maybe you're a nonprofit, right? Maybe you're a grant writer and you're like, I know what I do, right? I know who I serve. But for some of you, maybe this is going to take a little bit longer than 5 minutes. It might take longer than this session. I want you to give yourself the time to do that, because I think that this work is incredibly important. Again, it is the foundation to the stories that you will tell. So, brain dump here. I'm going to tell you what I tell every single one of my students. Please turn off the no voice in your head, right? Please, that voice that's telling you don't know anything, or this is silly, or this is dumb. No. I want you to just write all of that out in whatever form that takes for you right now. Why do you want to do this? More importantly, who are you serving? Okay, go ahead and do that, and we're going to come back. Okay, you've unpaused me. You're back again. Hello. So the next thing we're going to talk about, and this is kind of the nitty gritty of this process, is once you've got a clear idea articulated and you are able to look at your purpose, maybe put that purpose statement on a freaking Post-it note on your mirror. I have it on my desk. I have my goals and my marketing goals and my purpose right there in front of me, so I can remember it every single day. I want you to do that too, right? I think that that's a great way. Maybe you write it down in the journal every day if you need to. Whatever you need to do, be reminded of your purpose. And especially when you go to write content or you go to create your ideas for stories, make sure that that is front and center for you. So this next part of the workshop is going to be a kind of a 180, a transition here. We're going to talk through an engagement funnel. So this is how you take your idea and your purpose and you put it to work. Okay, this is, again, like I said, we're getting into the meat of it here. So this may look familiar to some of you. If you have taken social media classes or content creation classes, this is going to be similar. I've just adapted it for our clients. And I'm going to walk you through very specifically how we use this. So the first thing that you're going to want to do when you're telling stories is engage people, right? You got to get people to pay attention to you, slow the scroll, catch their attention. You got to kind of, it'd be like if you're in a coffee shop, it's like your hook, right? Maybe you're sitting down and telling a story to a friend, like you gotta get them engaged, right? Because if you lose them right off the bat, they're not going to listen to the rest of your story, okay? So you've got to be engaging. Level 2 is authority. You want to present yourself as someone who's credible, right? Someone that people can trust. That's the whole goal of this, is to build relationships. So you've got to create some content that positions you as an authority. The third level is authenticity. This is where stories really, really shine. This is the part that sometimes comes easier to some of us than others, but this is where you get to be genuine and peel back some of those layers of, perfectionism or professionalism to make yourself look like the real human being that you are. Of course, your brand is curated, right? Of course, your organization, you're putting your best foot forward. But this is where I like to think this authenticity piece is where we show our humanity, right? And then level 4, the final level, after you've kind of engaged people on these other 3 levels, is the selling level. So I do see a lot of people make the mistake with especially online with their social media pages, where they're just constantly selling. They're constantly marketing things, and that's all they're doing. And doesn't feel really great, right? I mean, it works for some businesses. It's just not the process that again, our process is to build relationships and to build community. And just like you wouldn't walk into a cocktail party or a network event and start yelling about all these great things that you do, you want to engage people and get to know them and be a good listener as you build relationships too. So that's the reason for the funnel. So another way to think of this is like, you don't want to have like 4 or 5 posts selling something and then, go for a month and just talk all about, engagement. You want to have a nice balance or blend of each of these types of posts. And I also just want to say that this works for real life too. So if you are like really awkward or you don't know how to talk about your business, one really unexpected, I think, benefit of using this for social content online is that as you practice these stories, as you tell these stories, you are going to be so much more prepared and confident to talk about your business in the face-to-face situations with clients, like in maybe the meeting that you get to pitch to them, or maybe the interview that you have for your new job. Like, you're going to know right away because you've been telling these stories, again, engaging people in different ways for a while, right? So hopefully this helps, and hopefully that concept makes sense to you. I'm going to dig a little deeper here in the next slide. So I think I want to talk a little bit more about the types of stories in that funnel. I'm just going to assume and not waste anybody's time, but I'm going to assume that you already know how to sell, that you already know how to market things, which is pretty straightforward. Hey, I have this thing. Here's why it's valuable to you. Bam. Here's how to get it, right? There's your sales post. But engagement, the rest of these I don't think are not as obvious to people. So an engagement post is really just you getting to know your community. I like to think of this as social listening, right? Like if you have strong relationships with people, you're going to be good at listening, right? Not just talking at them. So to do this online, I think we hopefully know how to do this in person, but you just ask people, get really good. Ask people simple questions related to their lives. You can practice this in real life and online. So like these don't always have to be so specifically related to your business, right? I absolutely love coffee. Like I'm trying to like simmer down on it a little bit in 2022, but like it brings me such joy to just have like a really good latte. So this can like blend here, but like engagement and authenticity. Like I often ask people like, oh, what's your favorite drink? Like, what's your favorite coffee? Like, what do you like, stuff that I'm just interested to know. It doesn't always have to relate directly to my business, but if it does, I get to find out more about my clients. I get to find out more about what they're struggling with. I often ask questions like that too. Like, hey, what do you want to know more about? Or, what, like, how can I help you? And I know that this is hard. I do want to say, you just want to think of these as your basic getting to know you types of posts, like initial questions. And if you're kind of stuck on what to ask, I think you can look at how other people do this and kind of mimic a little bit until you figure out your own style. And please, another thing I want to say is don't get bummed out if you do this a couple times and nobody responds. Like, it's okay. Right? Like, that's okay. You just got to keep doing it. You want to, because if you're consistently showing up over time, you're going to see your community start to build. And so again, you want to this is part of going back to that, like, act as a human being, right? And again, act in the way you want your brand to act. So I think getting to know obviously listening and getting to know your potential client, consumer, or person you will serve is a really great way to, build a strong relationship. Authority. So authority posts are, what do you know that would help your clients overcome their pain points? So if engagement was kind of getting to know them and understanding a little bit more about what they're struggling with, authority is how you help them. And this is, I think, these do come more naturally on social media. I see a lot of these posts on like LinkedIn, if you're on LinkedIn. And maybe here's another step for you guys too, as you kind of engage on social media now, be a little more strategic and start to notice like what falls into what category. But authority post is you just providing value. Like, what value are you providing? This can be, sharing an article that you found. LinkedIn does this a lot too, but even on Instagram, like speaking to your audience in ways where you are teaching them something, where you are helping them with some type of issue, right? So you're positioning yourself there. And then authenticity stories, these are the fun ones, but this is where you're sharing some behind the scenes snapshots of your life and business. But as I mentioned before, these are the spots where you really do have to make yourself vulnerable, and the stories in which you're really showing that humanity. All of these posts should engage your voice. They should feel like you. So when people interact with your brand, they know that that's your brand. Again, it goes back to your purpose, it goes back to your idea, right? That central statement that really ties everything together, but make it you. Like, make it your own. That's what people are going to relate to. So I wanted to share with you guys, lastly, as we wrap up here, some of the types of stories that I tell in my funnel. So for engagement, I'm asking simple get to know your business and branding questions, content creation questions. But I also do a little bit of mindset. I love personal and professional development. So I'll share stuff on gratitude, like goals, dreams, freedoms, polls and surveys, all that kind of stuff. And I really like to do that in Instagram. But again, you can do this anywhere, right? It's just simply getting to know people. Authority, so things that I talk about to my potential clients, things that I feel confident to talk about and teach on are, starting your business, obviously, like we're doing today, telling stories and building relationships and sustainable communities, and building a value-driven brand, content creation tips. Like, those are my three kind of pillars, if you will, in authority. And in authenticity, I'm really good. I love telling personal stories, but I also talk about life-work balance. Again, behind the scenes with the business, being able to travel and have freedom with our time is something I share. And then being a working mom is something that's core to who I am. So that's also something that helps build my authenticity with my ideal client. So, and if you do want to follow me, I'm at Dr. Meg Adams. Instagram is mostly where I hang out, but I'm also posting in Sisters in Storytelling quite a bit in that community as well. So I hope that this helped you kind of start your brand again with those core foundations that we talk about. And then these tips, I hope, help you create those stories to then message, right? Create the messaging for your brand. And you do have to do this consistently. I think everybody knows that. That's the hard part. But if you can show up, with one of each of these posts, I'll go back to the funnel for a second. I think if you can show up with one a week, you're doing great. And you are going to see traction over time, I promise. So I hope this was helpful for you today. If you want to go deeper into creating a story-driven brand, I do want to take a moment to talk about the course that I'm going to be offering this February. So I'm so excited. I can barely contain my excitement for this course. This is going to be a group course. So this is not going to be an online course where you sign up and you watch a bunch of videos and fill out a worksheet. That is a component of the course. But the really cool part of this course is that it's a course designed for women like you who are very serious about building a brand, and we're going to do it in community. So the process that I just shared with you about the engagement funnel, we're going to be doing that together. I do mine in 1 hour, because you know what? It was sucking up my time and I wasn't moving the needle with my business. So I created this process, and I do the same thing with our clients where we are creating content to share at the very baseline 1 hour a week. And so we'll do that together in this course, right? A writing workshop is something that we do, but we really cover, it's an 8-week course. We cover everything from really developing strong internal messaging well beyond what we did today, and some brand guidelines, quick one-sheeters for you. And then we're also mastering content creation. From there, once we've got our foundation, our roots built, if you will, we're going to talk about, like I said, being very strategic, but also making sure that you are going to create a structure for yourself for content creation that you can stick to and show up with consistently. So we're going to do strategic communication planning and align that with your content creation together. The other thing that we'll do in the course is to understand analytics. I'm not going to teach you Google Analytics, but I'll teach you the very basics of analytics, because I do think that trying to understand the algorithms that change every day isn't always as useful, but you can set up a personal process for yourself so that you are using those analytics to tell better stories. And again, to help you meet your goal, which is to serve people better, get the word out about your business and how you can serve people. That's the whole goal of all of this. So overall, you can see in that last bullet there, I mean, the goal of this is to help you learn how to build genuine relationships with ideal clients without feeling spammy or salesy. I mean, my goal is that everyone who's in this class has new clients, has new ideal clients by the end of it, because we're going to start putting processes into work in week 2. And so you'll be able to just start creating content in a way that feels good to you, in a way that feels sustainable to you, and in a community of women, like-minded women who will be able to support you in this process. So if that's something that you're interested in, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to share more information. We can schedule a free call and talk more about if the course would be a good fit to you. So reach out to me. I'm at megan@homeplacecreative.com. It's my last slide here. You guys can see that slide here. Please feel free to reach out to me. And then if anyone needs a certificate of participation, please also reach out to me. I'd be happy to send that to you as well. I hope you have a really wonderful rest of your week, whenever you're watching this, and a great start to the new year. Thank you.